Hey Tubies, it's Psychic Bob. It is so awesome to be with you guys. Well, I tell you, for those of you who were up late last night, you got a little extra treat. I ended up putting out a video yesterday, but I got it out really late, like 11 o'clock at night. Psychic Bob has been very busy, and a good busy. I've been doing a lot of readings and doing a lot of business meetings. Things have been very good, but a little hectic. So I'm trying to play catch up on my videos and getting back to everybody. Anyways, for those of you who've been calling for readings, not to worry, we are going to get back to you. I've got a little bit of a backlog, but just hang in there. We will call you, okay? And by the way, speaking of private readings, if you do want to get on my schedule, I do still have openings for this upcoming week. Give me a call, 703-825-3929. You get on my schedule for a private reading. And for those of you who are new here, I am a full-time professional psychic medium. A lot of you here have sat with me, and you can tell people, you know, that you hopefully have enjoyed this experience. And, you know, my private readings, what are they? They're an hour long. It's you and me, one-on-one for an hour. We can do that by telephone or by Skype. And we sit down, you and I, just ourselves, all in confidence. We talk about everything. We talk about the past, the present, the future. You know, we identify your spirit guides, what messages they have. You know, are you on your right path? You know, what is your life mission? You know, what are you here to do? We look at your past lives, your karmic links, all of that. And I also answer all of your questions. So I cover a lot in the hour. Those of you who've sat with me know we do get a lot of information in. And I'd love the chance to do that. So give me a call, 703-825-3929, or you can write to me at my email, readings@robert-hickman.com. That link will be below. And also visit my website, www.psychicbob.com. That will be below. Well, you know, today's Saturday, and that means it's Spiritualist Saturday. And each Saturday, for those of you who know, we are studying concepts and thoughts and ideas of spiritualism, and then we hold a little channeling session, a seance, where I go into trance and spirits come through. So we're going to do all that today. We're going to get back to, right now we're working on this book, Sylvia Browne's book, Mystical Traveler. So many of you have been writing, say how much you enjoy this book. And I enjoy it too. We haven't done this in about 2 weeks. So last week we did a different book. But we're going to try to get through this book. And, you know, what we're going to do is to learn about spiritualism from different perspectives, different mediums, psychics, their takes on spiritualism, and learn the concepts, the theories, the doctrines, the philosophy. And so hopefully we'll get a little bit of all of that in each week. Okay, there's a lot to cover. But we're going to continue on with this book today and have a little discussion about this before our seance. So we're going to start. We're right now on page 45 of Sylvia Browne's book, Mystical Traveler. By the way, I'm not being endorsed by Hay House Publishers or Sylvia Browne Corporation. I just love her books, though. Okay. All right, so we're on page 45, down at the bottom. Just between you and God. If you have this book, you can follow along. In fact, I encourage you to get this. It's not expensive. You can pick it up on Amazon or eBay very affordably. Okay. Okay, just between you and God, page 45. I think that a lot of the apprehension you might feel about becoming a mystical traveler stems from the same fear I had, that God's will is in opposition to yours. Well, take comfort in the fact that God's will does not, take, I'm having trouble today. Take confidence. All right. Hold on, I just lost my spot. Okay. God's will is opposition to yours. Well, take comfort in the fact that God's will does take precedence, but it won't interrupt your life or loves or even likes. You won't suddenly become someone else and no one will know what happened to you. However, others will note that there's something different about you. There's a light or a sort of sanctity that they can't put their finger on, but for a lack of a better phrase, they'll see a better you. I want to pause right there because I get this question sometimes from people in my readings. They say, Sega Bob, I feel as if Spirit's calling me, but I'm scared. If I say yes to God, then everything in my life might have to change. No, you don't have to become a fanatic. We've all encountered people who, and I'm not singling out any one religion, but there are a lot of religions when people become a new member, they become overly zealous, and they run around the streets preaching their religion's the only one, and you have to join this, and there's no other way. And we don't do that. Spiritualism, in terms of a spiritual life and commitment, is much more liberal, much more laid back. It's not about screaming about God in the streets. We say that God is infinite intelligence, and that intelligence permeates through all people and all places. I don't have to go out and force you to believe in infinite intelligence. You're already connected to it. You see, so what Sylvia's saying is, when you take on that role, it's not that you suddenly become a freak and a fanatic, it's that you become awake and aware of who you are. Like the Buddha said, somebody asked the Buddha one time, said, well, what are you? Are you God? Are you an angel? What are you? Are you an immortal? And he simply said, the Buddhist response was, I'm awake. And I think that's what we want to think of, just being awake. All right, let's continue on here. When you take on the mantle, you can't drink, eat, take, or do anything in excess that will harm your body, including drugs. I don't mean prescriptions for illness, as long as these pills are not overused. Taking too much of any substance is a slow way of killing yourself. And the use of recreational drugs is madness and stupidity. Although, like in the case of Anna Nicole Smith, sometimes it's hard to know who's to blame, the person taking all the drugs or the doctors who prescribe them. Either way, we can't judge what kind of life or weakness or pain such an individual is carrying, or know how he or she is going to react when thrust into the limelight. Interesting. As for Miss Smith, she's talking about Anna Nicole Smith, who was an actress who passed away a few years ago. As for Miss Smith herself, she was probably warned by the council when she wrote her chart that she may be going in too soon, or that her soul was too fragile for the life she'd laid out for herself. The Anna Nicole Smiths, Marilyn Monroes, and Elvis Presleys of this world, of course, make it to the other side, but they seem to allow themselves to be put in the hands of shady puppet masters before they get there. They then turn inward and become so full of fear and rejection that they simply can't handle it. We can only feel tremendous sorrow for these poor souls, especially since it's likely that in some life we all jumped in too fast or picked too hastily. Now I want to stop there because I think it's amazing thing she's talking about. See, over on the other side, for those who are trying to understand how this all fits together, before we're born, we have a council. We meet with them in the Temple of Spirit Guides, which we talked about last week. And they help us plan our life. We have a whole council. We have guides. And so we don't just show up in this world haphazardly. We actually orchestrate it. But see, part of that transition into this life is that a veil is put over us. The memory of everything from the other side is pretty much erased, at least temporarily. And so that's to give us a fresh start so we can have a new experience. But see, people like she's talking about Anna Nicole Smith, Marilyn Monroe, these type of souls, we look at them and say they have all this fame, all this money, and yet they ended up self-destructing. And that's because, many times our chart masters, our council, our guides tell us, they say, you're going to go into the earth at a certain time. These are going to be influences you're going to have to deal with. And a lot of times they'll say, looking ahead, we see that's going to be a real challenge. Do you really want to take that on? They really give us a lot of warning, But as I've always said, I think they get us drunk at the same time. And we just say, hey, we'll sign that contract. And then we end up here. But you see, this is the thing, even in the midst of all this craziness of this world, and let me tell you, it does get crazy. We're never really alone. We have help. And so you have to always remember to call on your counselor, call on the other side. If you're in stuff and you're saying, I'm getting in over my head, I don't know what I'm doing, say, Spirit people, help me understand. I think I'm supposed to go through this, but help me get through it. And I tell you, they'll help you. But you've got to be remembering them. See, Spirit people can't intervene or interfere unless we give them permission. So, you see, we do get a lot of warnings on the way. And I think that, as she said also, many times our souls are fragile, especially if we've had a tragic previous life. A lot of times the council says, stay in spirit, for 100 years till you settle down. You have to remember their time is different. So 100 years is nothing. But, some of us are so eager for soul growth. We say, I don't care. The council gives us free will. We can come back in. But like Anna Nicole Smith, maybe we came in too soon and didn't build up enough strength. And then we get in a storm, All right, Sylvia goes on, she writes, the good news is that all of your bad or unhealthy habits seem to disappear or can be broken almost immediately when you become a mystical traveler. But that doesn't mean that you must become overly scrupulous. You don't have to stop everything or suddenly become a vegan unless you want to. You don't need to dress differently, change your hairstyle, or become plain and nondescript. I drink coffee, get my hair and nails done. Yes, they're mine. Anybody seen Sylvia on TV? She had really big nails. People always talked about that. And I do wear some makeup. However, I only tend to do so when I'm on stage, on TV, or going on some social function, because it makes me feel like I'm wearing a mask otherwise. Yes, even when I'm at home doing readings or writing, I don't walk around without any pride or about how I look. I think the old adage of moderation in all things is right, and it doesn't just point to what we ingest, it also cautions us against being frivolous with money, speech, or actions. I do like to gamble a little, and I love to shop, but I don't spend too much or go on binges. If you do anything to excess, it can be so nerve-wracking that it greatly impacts your pocketbook and your health. All right, we're going to stop right there. So basically what Sylvia is saying is that, when you become a mystical traveler, you're going to get strength to kind of get things on track. And that's why, when you take that vow of being a mystical traveler, it's not a light deal, because it does, excuse me, my tissue there. It does change things, excuse me, guys. And you want to really embrace that part of yourself. Sorry, it's the bright lights in here that are making me sneeze. I was telling you guys the other day, sometimes a bright light makes me have a sneeze reaction. Some of you said that happens to you too. But anyways, as I was saying here, in commenting on Sylvia's writing, I think that she says it best, moderation in all things. And didn't the Buddha say, take the middle way, And so I think there's a lot of wisdom. By the way, Buddha was a mystical traveler also. And I think that, she says anything to extreme impacts you negatively. And I think, when we're on the other side, the counsel that prepares us for our lifetime does tell us. They say, you're going to be faced with these challenges, these temptations. In some cases, they're meant to be overcome. I watched an interesting interview with, it was an older interview, but with Elizabeth Taylor. And Elizabeth Taylor she's very honest in her interviews. And it was Barbara Walters was interviewing her. And Barbara Walters said, she showed pictures of Liz Taylor back in the late 70s when she was really heavy. And she said, Elizabeth Taylor, what happened? You used to be so svelte and beautiful, and you just let yourself go. And Elizabeth Taylor said, I did. She said, I just did it. It was almost rebellion. It's like, how far can I push things? And Elizabeth Taylor, admitted that during that period of her life when she had all that weight gain, she said, I didn't wear makeup, I let my hair go. And she said, I just took everything to extremes. And, it really did impact her health at that time. She even talked about the struggles she had and how she worked back to getting back into balance. And I actually think also that Elizabeth Taylor is a mystical traveler. A lot of you don't know, she didn't really go around talking about spirituality, but she did have a near-death experience, which was very profound, changed her whole life. And I think that, if you watch her interview, she radiates that light of the spirit world. She's very powerful, amazing. And, I tell you, she's no longer with us, but we know she's a friend over there of the spirit world. But anyways, I want you to think about that. Try to keep balance. And if you're looking to become a mystical traveler, kind of look at your life from where can I get a little more balance? And that's going to help you step into that role. Anyways, guys, enough of my rambling, but definitely get this book, Sylvia Browne, Mystical Traveler, published by, I think it's Hay House, yeah, Hay House Publishers. Recommend it. Well, now we're going to get ready and have a little seance. And seance is, the type of seance we're going to do is called a trance channeling, or in the old days it was called trance mediumship. That's spelled Trance, trance. See, is it that way? See, not trans. Somebody wrote to me and said, are you a transgender? I said, no, trance medium, Trance. What that means is I go into a trance. The spirit world overshadows me, and they come through with messages. When I'm in a trance, it looks a little strange, but I don't feel any pain. I'm really just not there. I'm in a sleep state. And I always like to say it's kind of like when you're lying on the couch watching TV and you're drifting to sleep. You ever done that? Watch a movie and you're hearing stuff go on a little bit, but you're not really connected. Well, that's what it's like when I do channeling. I'm hearing the voices, but I don't really know what they're saying until I go back and watch the video myself. So it's always an adventure. And I tell people I get as much out of this experience as you do because I learn from the spirit people. And I'm amazed that they trust me enough to be a vessel. And so I'm going to open the channel today, and we'll see what happens. I think I'm going to take down the lights here. So let's do that. Let's bring down our lighting. We're going to make it a little dimmer in here. I like a little softer lighting when I channel. So I'll see here in just a minute. Let me just get settled in, and we'll have our channeling. Pull up your chairs here. Gather around. If you were in my house, I'd say, just form a little circle here, and we're going to have a little session. All right, I'm going to settle into my trance now, so I'll see you when I get back. Oh, this is Fletcher here. So good to be back with you. Give us just a moment while we adjust the medium's vibration. Ooh. There we go. Sometimes it takes us a few moments to get control of the body because we've got to overshadow the nervous system and the conscious mind, and we take control. We got to push him into the background so that we can come through and speak to y'all. But we're so glad to be back with you. Oh, and we've got a few people here who'll be wanting to speak with you today. So I'll be stepping out of the way and be monitoring them and helping them to move in and out of the medium's body. This is Fletcher, over and out. It was many years ago that I inquired of the truths of spiritualism. I was a young man but I knew that there was more than what my parents had told me. I came from a very conservative Christian home, and though my parents' religion was fulfilling for them, it left me with a sense of not quite knowing all that there was. When I would inquire of them, they would say, "You must go to the church and ask the reverend." And when I would go to the church, I would ask the reverend, I'd say, "Is God everywhere?" And the reverend would say to me, "Alfred, why do you ask such questions? Of course God is everywhere." And I said, "If he's everywhere, why did he not see me when I cry out to him?" And he says, "God not only sees you, he hears your prayers." It was not enough for me to accept these trite answers, for I felt that I needed to go deeper. And as I became a bit older, I was invited to a seance, and I encountered spiritualism. In the world of spiritualism, they say that life is eternal. They say you are not a sinner who's waiting for judgment. They say you are a very child of God, that you participate in the reality of the cosmos. One medium told me that I was there at the beginning, and said all the souls were come from the mind of God and were with him in the beginning. I suppose I believe this to be true, for in my spirit as a young man I sensed that there was more to me than the present life. Since coming here to the spirit world, I've come to understand so much more, that I truly was there in the beginning. But I don't say this out of arrogance or out of a sense of superiority. I say this to remind each of you that you were also there in the beginning. Every soul that has been upon the earth was with God in the beginning. When I say the term God, I don't mean to speak of a man sitting on a throne with judgment and lightning bolts. I'm speaking of that which is called infinite intelligence, the eternal mind and consciousness that is wrapped in love. The cosmos is a loving place, though I know some would beg to differ and say, "But Alfred, there's cruelty in the earth and in the world." Yes, the cruelty though stems from humanity's lack of awareness. Humans walk in places of darkness of their mind, and this darkness of the mind is reflected in their actions. It is not that God or infinite intelligence does not care, but it is that infinite intelligence allows the freedom of the soul. We are not automatons, we are not robots, we are not slaves to infinite intelligence. We are participants in creation. We are soul participants. We are enliveners of each other. Do you understand that you are made of light, and that light is truly divine essence? You may say, "My body is old and decrepit." Your outer form may be decrepit in the material world, for the material world is limited. But your true essence is that of the spirit, and that is eternal, and it is full of light and living and power and frequency. It is beyond anything in the earth. The earthly power could not contain the true unveiled spirit. If you were to remove your body and retain your full spiritual form, it should be brighter than an atomic blast, for the soul's light is beyond any earthly light. If you imagine the brilliant flash that was reported at Hiroshima and at Nagasaki during the war years, the light of the soul is even brighter than that. That light should be pale in comparison to the true light of the spirit world and of the soul. And so if you think yourself less than, if you think yourself to be evil, if you think that you are of no import, I'd like to remind you that each of you here today were in the mind of the infinite intelligence from the beginning, and you were there at the creation of the cosmos. You have participated in the whirling of galaxies, the spinning of globes, in the expansion of space. You have unlimited power within you. Though but for a time are you in a veiled form, it is true you are veritably divinity veiled in flesh. The term to be a child of God is not a mere metaphor, it is a reality. You are a child of the divine. You are power. You are love. You are life. Embrace who you are, and you will understand the beginnings of spiritualism. It is unlimited, and you will never stop learning. But embrace the path. Open your mind and heart. Come back to Godhead. Return to infinite intelligence. And you will know not only peace, but joy unlimited. The others who wish to speak, and Fletcher's asked me to step from our medium's body. I send you my greetings. My name is Alfred. Oh, there we are. Greetings, my dears. This is Rose. Oh, it's such a joy to be here with all of you. Oh, no, whenever I listen to Alfred teaching on the spirit world, I learn something new myself. One would say, but Rose, you're already in the spirit world. How can you not know these things? My dears, try to understand that over in the spirit world, you're continually learning. It is vast beyond all compare, and one cannot simply grasp it all at one time. This is why eternity exists. Eternity exists that you may continually grow and learn. Alfred was speaking the words of wisdom when he said that we were there in the beginning. Do you know, when I first returned to the spirit world, one of the things that they said to me was, Rose, welcome home. You've had a long and difficult sojourn on the earth. And at first I said, oh, my dears, what do you mean? Welcome home? I don't know where I am. I've really never been here before. And they said to me, Rose, your soul has travelled through many lifetimes, and you just have come from your most recent incarnation. And a strange thing was, my dears, as I spoke to them, it slowly dawned on me that yes, I did somehow know this light that I stood before. When you come to the spirit world, you will be greeted by your guides, your helpers, your various friends here. It will be a homecoming, and a beautiful one. Even souls who have died a tragic death or lived a less than honourable life are welcomed in love. Over here, love is the predominant quality. There is no judgment. Yes, you will have a life review, and you will have to face the good and the bad that you have done. But you judge yourself, my dears, and when the judgment becomes overwhelming, angels step in to bring you comfort and to remind you that your life is through and you can let all of that go. Some of you today are dealing with self-condemnation. You say, if only I had said that, or only if I had done that, and oh, why did I do that? My dears, this fretting will not get you anywhere. When you've done an error, look at it in an objective way. Step outside of yourself and say, where did I put the wrong foot? Where did I step wrong? Look at it, evaluate all the circumstances, for this is what you will do in your life review. You will understand your motivation, the motivation of others around you, and the general dynamic that was in place that caused the action or misdeed, whatever it was, to occur. But when you observe this from the spirit world, you have a lot more clarity. But even on earth, you can begin that process. And I would encourage you, begin each day to do a review of yourself. Say, what have I done good today? And then say, what did I do today that was not so good? The good things you might have done is been kind to an elderly person. Maybe you gave money to the homeless. Maybe you visited a friend in hospital. These are all admirable things. Maybe you spent time in deep contemplation and gave reverence to the eternal spirit. All of these, as I said, are very good. But also be honest and say, what did I do today that was perhaps not so good? Now, my dears, when you recount your less than honorable actions, don't be hateful to yourself. Look at it objectively, scientifically. You might say, I spoke very harshly to my neighbor. I was upset about them, throwing their paper on my lawn and having it scatter. But you didn't have to yell over a little paper on the lawn. But you know that you did. And so recount and say, how could I have done it differently? Again, look at it with objectivity, not self-condemnation. And my dears, if you do this daily inventory of the good and the bad, you'll get closer to understanding your life review. And, well, I say it should make you a better person. And life is about living in love and harmony. And whenever we're in disharmony or don't live in love, well, we're not honoring ourselves, nor are we honoring the great infinite intelligence, the Creator. Love is the guiding principle in the spirit world, and we should strive to make it the guiding principle on earth. My dears, Fletcher says the medium's power is waning, so I shan't stay and beleaguer him and beleaguer the point and wear him out. But we do thank you for allowing us to come here today. We send you each of our greetings and our blessings. And please, my dears, when you feel lost and overwhelmed by the material, well, call upon us. You can call on Alfred or Fletcher or Rose, myself. You say, Rose, call. Here, dear, help me. And I shall come in a moment and help you. Remember each of our names. We shall help you. And we may bring another spirit guide to you as well. Some of you have called on me and I've brought others to you. And you've said, Rose, I felt another presence. And it's true, my dear, I often bring others with me when I come. So if you're looking for a spirit guide, I can help you, my dears. Call upon me and ask me to help you to connect with the spirit well. My dears, the power is starting to fade, and I feel myself starting to go with it. But I thank you for allowing me to come here today, and I soon meet my friends. Tubies, I always feel so good when I come back from channeling. And I could feel the spirit moving today. And I hope that they brought you some wonderful things from the spirit world, some messages that are helping you on your journey. Listen, I want to also help you on your journey. And I have a number of published books. You might want to pop over to my website, psychicbob.com, www.psychicbob.com. Pick up my books. This is a book I think you'll really love. If you enjoy my spirit guide, Rose, you might want to pick up Messages from Rose. It's about my work as a psychic and my channeling. I think you'll really like it. I have a number of books over there. Ouija Mysteries, the Spirit Board Seances, Psychic Bob's Book of Wiccan Wisdom, Psychic Bob's Book of Spells, and others too. So definitely pop over to my website. Check out my published works. Pick up a copy for yourself. Work on your spiritual life. And, pick up a gift. It's a great time with the spring break and summer coming to get in some summer reading to take to the beach or to share with a friend. And, in fact, I got a letter from somebody a few months ago that said that they gather with their friends. They're having a book club, and they're reading my books. I'm so touched. Anyways, guys, thanks for being here. I love you. Listen, help Psychic Bob out. If you've enjoyed this, I want you to please hit that like button, thumbs up, hit subscribe, be part of our channel. We'd love you to be here. And definitely visit my website, www.psychicbob.com. And you can pick up my books or also learn about my work as a psychic medium. And if you want, give me a call for a reading, 703-825-3929. That's my phone number. Put it in your cell phone. Just keep it. You may not need a reading today, but in the future you might, and you'll have me on your speed dial. And all of these links to my phone number and email and website will be below, so definitely go in the info box and check it out. Guys, thanks for being here. You rock. I love you. We'll see you back here tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Sunday. We're going to have the Witching Hour, 8 p.m. live broadcast, live chat. Make sure to be here. We'll see you then. I love you. Until tomorrow, may you all always blessed